Okay, guys, it is January. Mary Beth Olive, we are going to go through Ignite sessions 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, this is all about creating leads. It's a lot of content, and though I find that there are some sections of it that get a little redundant, and there are going to be things that you might add to the conversation that might not be in there, of ways that we create leads. I also believe that doesn't matter what market we're in, you're going to expand your mind a bit, and there are going to be new ideas, or you'll be reminded to go back to doing something that was working and generating you leads. So we are going to dive right in so we could stay on time. And I created my own little PowerPoint for this so that everything is all in one. Okay, you can see the PowerPoint, yes? Thumbs up, yes. Okay, great. All right. So, and please, if you have anything to say, any questions, throw it in the chat. Xenia, if you see that, if you could just unmic and let us know what the question is. And or just unmic and just ask the question or give an opinion. Happy to hear those too. We all have them, a couple of them. So this first section is about open houses. And I know open houses could serve a couple different purposes. It also could serve a bunch of different parts of our communities. Um, and when we think about the islands, we have to think about the different audiences that we may be able to attract. Maybe we aren't attracting. Um, and, just kind of think outside the box. We're doing the same here. The challenge is we have to find the motivated. And right now, it's challenging in the States with the interest rates and just a lot of different factors with jobs. It's challenging for the motivated to come out. So we have to go find them. It may be a little different, and yet still all these opportunities I find are there in every market, in every geographic market and every time market. So open houses are always a great way to capture leads, always a great way to showcase your property. We're going to go through some best practices and how to prepare best for that open house. Now, nothing else about your business will have as big as an impact as you have a number of leads. We've gone over that. Leads. If you don't have leads, you're not working with people. You don't have the opportunity to negotiate or write contracts or show houses or take pictures or any of that. So at the end of the day, this business, being in real estate, is a lead generation business. We happen to specialize in houses, condos, developments, products that, real estate. And that is a mindset that you have to grasp, right? So some limiting beliefs that I don't have listings, right? Who on here doesn't have a listing and is thinking, well, what kind of open house would I do? Because I don't have a listing. Well, the best way to get an open house is to go get a listing, make it your mission to go get the listing and then have the best open house that you possibly can. I don't have signs. I may not know the answers to some of the questions. Open houses really do work because most people work online. They look online. People like to feel it. People like to go and see it. The serious buyers are going to come out and take a look. And then there is a very valid one. I won't feel safe. And you should absolutely have safety precautions. So who benefits from having the open house, right? Ultimately, the seller benefits. We have to stress with the seller that your best offer is in direct proportion to the amount of people that see this property, right? The amount of people that walk through, take a look, say, hey, I like it, I don't like it. Maybe they're not even buying, but they tell a friend. I've had that happen and the friend buys. So the exposure of your product, Mr. Seller, is in direct proportion to the offers that you receive, ultimately the net that you have in your pocket. Why is it a benefit to buyers? Well, some buyers are in the beginning stages. Some buyers maybe their agent isn't available. So it's an easy way to look at properties. It's also, be mindful, an easy way to interview agents without you knowing. When those customers are walking through, or potential customers, or neighbors, or maybe other agents going, hey, how does Sam behave when she's at an open house? How informative was Francisco? What kind of did I feel like I was greeted? Did I have a great experience? People want an experience now. So don't think that the open house is anything different. And the neighbors is super important because when one person sells, it starts to just activate the brain of the other neighbors. Maybe they didn't realize they could get that much for the house. Maybe they didn't realize houses were selling in that neighborhood. Maybe they didn't realize how, right? So the neighbors are a crucial part to open houses. And even here, we say, nosy neighbors. We don't want those nosy neighbors. They're just going to come in and they're not really buyers. Well, guess what? It makes it look like there's more interest in the property, and you are enlisting those neighbors to help you sell the property, right? Doesn't everybody want to pick their own neighbor? So we're going to talk a little bit about the VIP open house, which is in the Shift book. It's not in this material, but I believe it is what you can follow as a model. And if you could do as most as you can out of the 7, then you're going to be better than most. So the benefit of the open house, it's inexpensive, right? You don't really need to have anything. Nobody said you had to have food or water or any of that. It's hot there, so having water is definitely a nice greeting. Um, if you can afford, or it's something maybe a little challenging, so you want to lure people out to the property, and we're going to talk about, is it a broker tour? Is it a realtor tour? Is it a public tour? Is it a neighbor tour? I mean, there's all different types of open houses that you can hold. So, depending on the product and who your audience is, you may need to enlist a loan officer, enlist an inspector, enlist somebody that's going to be part of the transaction to help you host this open house. Okay. It's a prospecting tool. It has a high return of investment. An open house is something where you could spend, and I'm not asking you to do that, but you could spend $200 on an open house and make a sale of $10,000 to $12,000. So that is a great return on investment. You could also overspend, not hold your dollar accountable, and waste tons of money throwing it at things that look flashy but aren't really generating the transaction. So, business minded. Yes, we do certain things that also serve us as marketing. So, when you're doing an open house, the other part is you're able to tell everybody about it. So you do need to make sure, how does this look and how do I want it to be received? Because there's gonna be pictures, videos, other agents might be taking video. And qualified leads, well, that's up to you, to be honest, because you have to qualify those leads. But most likely, if an open house in a market where there's very little inventory, an open house will be something that buyers are going to want to get to before anybody else. So we have a delayed showing here that we then kind of tip off with an open house, and that generates lots of traffic. And so you may see very qualified buyers come out at your first weekend that your listing goes live. And timing is also really important when you are deciding on your open house. Okay, so let me just do it here. Best practices. Our best practices in open house is, be purposeful, not entrepreneurial. And don't just show up. I mean, how many times do people just show up and you're not prepared, you haven't seen the inventory, and hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. Be purposeful. Think about the markets. So if you have a multiple amount of houses that you're to choose from, or you have multiple listings, of course, or if you don't have listings and you're looking to choose an open house, pick a market that is selling. Pick a market that actually has turnover, that people are going to drive through. It may not be the most priciest home, but it may be the place where the most amount of people travel through and where you're going to get the most exposure for the day. And pick the time and the theme. If it's a property where you know that most people that would buy this property are working 9 to 5. So nighttime open house might be, a twilight, as we call it, open house. Maybe it's something light, wine and cheese might be appropriate. The views are awesome. A Sunday afternoon, the boats, maybe that's the thing. So like picking the time and the theme of that open house are extremely important. I had an open house once that was the property sat next to a church. So I worked off of the church traffic, right? We did an after church party. So I served coffee, donuts, stuff like that, and lured the people out of the church parking lot into the open house. What did it do? It did not sell it to anybody that came through, but it really showed my seller that I was willing to think outside the box and draw traffic into the home. Because we were a little bit stale at that time, right? So you also need to save your open houses so that you can make it your solution when a seller is concerned that the house hasn't sold, right? So if you come out the gate and you do open house, broker open house, all the marketing, you do your video and you throw everything at it and it still doesn't sell, if that's the right price. So you start holding back on that second, third open house. Let them know that you're going to do it a little bit later. Try for a price improvement before you go ahead and do that next or third open house. So picking the time is super important and preparing the stats, knowing your market. Who's going to walk into that house? Okay. You have $1 million house that is, we like what we can't afford, right? We're going to go in that house because the door is open and maybe that buyer can afford 7, but they're going to walk into the $1 million. You need to know the market below that market, right? If they're looking at this, they're probably looking in that area. They just kind of thought, hey, let me stop through this open house. Cool. So you need to know the lower market. You need to know the market that the house sits in. And you also need to know the upper market, because what happens when somebody walks in and they go, oh, I thought this was a 2-bedroom. I thought this was a 3-bedroom condo. So I thought that was a 3-bedroom condo, and you know nothing about the next level up condo. Shame on you. And that's what preparing your stats and knowing your market. Know the building, know the maintenance fees, know if there's going to be a new building that's going to pop up right next to it, or if a road's going to cut through, know that kind of stuff. And if it's to be disclosed, disclose it. Being safe, using a buddy system. Let somebody know where you are, share your location. Let your I always bring somebody in a market like now. Bring somebody. Have a young agent who hasn't done an open house yet come and shadow with you. Maybe it's a big opportunity and it's going to be a high traffic open house. Have somebody sit with you and make an agreement before you go into that open house that, hey, you know what, Edwin and I are going to do this open house together, and it's my listing, and I choose to split all the leads with Edwin 50-50 that come from this. Let's put that in writing. Let's not let Edwin go into it assuming that's what's going to happen. And then Mary Beth is like, oh no, Edwin, that was for your experience. I hope you got some good experience out of that, which I do that with some agents in the beginning too. You don't have the right to work with the client yet. Just come and touch it and feel it. The next time we make an agreement that we're going to share some leads, right? So I also want to just protect the listing agents in this. Don't get offended if a listing agent has some rules or says no about an open house, because they know their client and they know what their client is looking for, and they're looking for them, and they got to do the open houses. So just don't get offended. Just go on and find the next one. Park on the street. Don't park in the driveway. You're actually interfering with the look of the home. Arrive early. You have a 12 o'clock open house. Get there at 11. Get there at 10:30. Walk the neighborhood. Put some flyers out. Let people know, hey, there's going to be a lot of traffic over here. Give them your card. If there's a challenge, give me a call. If you need me to move a car, give me a call, right? So you're connecting with the neighbors for a purpose, to let them know that there's going to be a ton of strangers in their neighborhood. Do they have little kids? Maybe they don't want their little kids outside while all these strangers are driving through the neighborhood that they don't know, right? So for safety reasons, you can find ways also to prospect into the neighborhood to let people know that you have this open house. Make sure all of your entrances are either locked, unlocked. Just know where the keys are. Have an an exit, God forbid a fire, God forbid, something's coming through the front. Do you go out the back? Is to come from the back, go out the front. Make sure your cell phone is charged, turn the lights on, check for any kind of guidelines that we have going on, and then follow your market center guidelines. Check in with your leadership and see, is there something that I need to be doing? Where should I be posting this? Is there a shared group? This group on the Facebook group is a good place to go ahead and post that you're going to be at an open house. Let us know. Go live a little bit, right?
Can I have a can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
For us, it's always a struggle to choose which open house we're going to do. So, for example, if we talk about the $1 million house, it's very hard to get the tourist in. You have any tips? Because normally we take houses, between $300,000 and $400,000 next,
right?
And because we get a lot of locals. Yeah, it's always a challenge to get tourists in. If we have a $1 million home, how to get the tourists, to the open house, the clients.
Well, yeah, so that I find to be an opportunity. There's a section in the next one that talks about events and creating what I would say is an event. Creating, I mean, an idea that I had, I would love to see somebody execute it at the KW family, is all of our high-end hotels are all-inclusive hotels. I mean, they take us on trips that we don't even want to go on. They make us sit through things that we don't even want to sit through. Come and let me know that there's a tour that happens every Tuesday, and our local agents take you to 2 or 3 homes and you have lunch at this really nice place. It's $100. We pay for the bus. We go to see the properties. You literally could have tourists paying to meet you if you could arrange the experience for them. And so, Edwin, to your point, there are a lot of $300,000 and $400,000 properties. We see the $1 million properties all over the place. I want to know about the $300,000 and $400,000 properties. I want to know about, is there $200,000 to $300,000 properties somewhere that I would want to maybe consider letting my friends and family know we could all live on the island together. Like, those are real conversations over here. People don't want to be paying $50,000 in taxes, $23,000 in taxes a year on their property taxes. We are looking to see, where do we go to retire? So I think there's a real big opportunity to connect at a concierge level. It's a white glove service. Then you have other tours, all different sorts of tours. Maybe just for the person who's really looking to grab some Airbnbs. We have an Airbnb tour. We show you 3 of our finest Airbnbs. We introduce you to our management team. And then we hook you up with agents on all 3 islands if you'd like to buy on the other 2 as well. I mean, I just sat with one of the creepiest guys downtown in Aranestad to hear about this luxury site that they were starting. And I thought it was interesting because people can vacation for $300-$400 a week. So I'm like, you know what? Let me look at that, because my sphere can't buy a house right now, but they want a vacation with me, but they can't always stay at my house. So I was curious just to service my database, my sphere. And from that, I sat there and I thought we could do a better job than this. So I don't know. There's more masterminds on this, I'm sure, but I think it's a matter of creating the experience and letting us pay for it and making it one of the tours that we go on. And I think KW could do it like at its best. So this here is the 7th level open house, and it comes from the Shift book. I was looking here on the Keller Inc. This is the site, right, where you can buy the Shift book. There's a leadership Shift book also. But in the resources, I thought they would have this and they didn't. So I had to go looking for it. Under Shift, you will see a bunch of figures, some really cool charts, but this one here is about the 7th level. This is page 71 in the book. And okay, you could put a sign in the yard. You could put some balloons and riders. You could then also, on level 3, they tell us, well, go put directional signs also. And then level 4, the week before, make sure you're emailing the invites, posting on all the sites that you're having this open house. Level 5, go into the neighborhood 100 minimum and let them know. And what that looks like is 25, 25, and 50 across, stay close to the house, the 50 closest, right? And then we call everyone that morning. Like, are you going to the office and from 10 to 12, you're like calling the neighborhood also to let everybody know, hey, or calling your buyers and And then the last one is hold 4 other houses in that area or direct them. So give them a map to say, hey, if you don't like this one, we also have an open over here, and over here. And yes, that creates competition, but I want some of our bigger listing agents to think about, what if they were all your listings? And you just had this little caravan and you just said, here's the map, go wherever you want to go. And here's the best of for the price. Here's the best for the pool. Here's the best view. Here's the best location. People want to know what the best of what? Like, what is that? What's the benefit of that one? You know? Okay. So in preparing before the open house, it doesn't happen on, you know, Sunday. You don't just wake up and go to the open house, or Saturday, or do the Thursday open. You don't just do that. You got to prepare for the whole week. This is what it looks like. Monday, select the house. Tuesday, post it online, walk the neighbors, invite the neighbors. Wednesday, post again, install the yard sign. Now the directionals start going up, post online, invite the database. Why would I invite somebody from Holland? Well, because who knows? Maybe they're actually there for the week. Maybe their friend is. Maybe they're like, you know what? I don't want to buy on that island, but you sell on the islands, right? Can you sell me over here? Thursday, post online again and post again and again, and prepare the market statistics, print the flyers, and door knock. So we can find plenty of leads at an open house and what a client likes to know. And this is going to go into the other sections too, is community and neighborhood information, relocation information, maybe transportation, first-time buyers specifics, mortgage information. They're going to want to know, what is the next step? Do I write an offer? What does an offer look like? Do you represent me? How does that happen? Do I hire an attorney? Well, in our world, it's an attorney, but they're gonna have to choose a notary, right? What clients like to know? Did that one. And then build trust and rapport, provide value, capture information, quality leads. This is where we capture this information and now we need to put it into the database. We need to have a system of how we're going to now communicate with it in a systematic way. Build trust, rapport, greet everyone. We talked a lot about this. Know your team's stats. If you don't have stats, know your market stats, know your team's, your market center stats. Understand the personality types. Understand when you have somebody who's not wanting to talk to you, but he wants the data. Or it's all about the fluff and has nothing to do with how old the equipment is. The hot water heater. They'll have something to offer, right? So we talked a lot about this and pursuing, using your database, using Facebook and Instagram, using targeted ads in campaigns in Command. And so an open house truly becomes an opportunity. As far as for broker tours, I'm always curious why our broker tours aren't opened up to our neighbors and aren't opened up to the public as much as they should be. Like, and that's here. So when I was in Aruba, I went to a couple open houses a couple different times, and I saw that people were welcome to come in. So just be mindful. If you're going to be there, when I ran a restaurant, I would say to them, if you're going to have to waitress, you might as well get the most amount of tips in that hour. Like, you're going to have to be there at the open house. You might as well grab as many people and as many opportunities to come through as possible. So even friends, family, tell them to come on through and see the opportunity, see the products.
What do you mean with broker tours? Because normally we always invite all our colleagues, brokers from other companies to the open house. I think that's also a good thing about an open
Yes.
house. You meet other realtors. Sometimes you never work with them and you see an open house, you introduce yourself. But you always invite them as well?
So what we do here is the weekends are typically for the clients. And when we have a broker tour, we will put it on like a Wednesday or a Thursday around lunchtime, and we will invite them to the brokers to come. Through our multiple listing service, we have a place where we could put that, and everybody looks for it. So what I find is that when brokers do that here, they don't tell the public, hey, come on in as well. They kind of just leave it closed for just brokers.
Yeah, that's
So,
different here because we
yeah,
invite
good.
our brokers and they come together with their clients sometimes.
With their clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Works.
great. That's the way to do it, is just get some exposure for that seller. Also, while you're doing an open house, it's a good idea to get a feedback. Maybe you have a feedback sheet. Sometimes we would print little cards and just ask a few questions. Do you feel this house is priced properly? You know, what price would you put on it? You know, they can go anonymous if they want, but then those cards would be left for the seller to kind of look through. And it wasn't me telling them the feedback. It was everybody who came through, all of my colleagues who also sell here. You know, so we did leave it a lot anonymous so that the seller would just get some, just unbiased, some feedback, right?
Maribeth, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
In regards to the broker tours that you just mentioned, what to you is the added value that you speak one-on-one just with the agents instead of having potential clients included, so you can more
Yes.
go in depth and get them prepared to be able to show the house with you next time?
So a lot of our agents don't do the tour unless it's over like 1.5. A lot of our agents, we put lock boxes and agents will go in and out. So yes, to that point, we like to explain all the nooks and crannies of the house. And, you know, sometimes it's a tool for us to get the exposure if it is an overpriced listing. We can invite with good food or just good reputation. And then we're able to say, you know, just bring an offer, like, see this, look at the backyard, look at, and it's a way for us to sell our product. Yes. Also though, it is a way for us to share.
Maribeth,
Yeah.
on the islands, actually, we always do the viewings as a listing agent as well. So we don't have that key system. So probably that's why we mix those two together.
I could see that being the case as well. If you don't have that lockbox system as a listing agent, yes, you'd have to be at every showing. We are not at every showing. We're under a commission and there's laws and rules and people can get fined, and the box tracks us whether we go in, what time we go in, when we put the key back. So we do have that, it's called Supra GE. That's the boxes that we use. It's really an easy system to kind of incorporate, and it makes, I mean, especially on the island, because you have to drive all over to get the keys or to go and show, it probably would be, and because the combo boxes are not safe, right? I mean, the combo box, then they give the number to their friends and then everybody and their mother is in the combination lockbox. But yeah, so we do use our broker tours to get to know the agents. And what I tell my young agents is absolutely go to broker tours, because the minute you have an offer for, you know, BB Lowers, I want her to have known that you go and see product and you're an agent that actually works. So when the offer comes through, it's a little easier to negotiate. And, oh, you came to the open house, I met you there. Yes. Okay. I would love to see you guys get a lockbox. I would love to see you guys get MLS on some of the islands also. That shared data is so key. But if you could be the lead runner in accumulating the data, and even if it's just through the notaries, I definitely charge somebody to do that, because that's how we know what's going on in our market. All right, so let's get through this. The next one is on social media. I have a very good friend, Ashley Capola, who is going to join us. She's just going to let me know her schedule, and she's going to go over some great things that happen in commands and social media. But on social media, we have our 10-5-1 engagement, which we've gone over before. It is 10 likes, you know, 5 comments and 1 direct message. So social media is powerful. You can absolutely expand your sphere. So what I encourage you to do on social media is go and look at your friends and see their friends and see if you should be friends with their friends, or see their friends that you've met at different parties that maybe you're not friends with on social media. But if you were, maybe that would be another, you know, way to add to your sphere. So it's 10 likes, and you guys do it all the time. The 10 likes are super easy, but this is you being purposeful. 5 comments, and then 1 direct message every single day that you're working. And when you're posting, we talk about 80-20, 80 of it being personal, like just your thoughts, what you're reading, going for walks. I personally believe that the next one, business meaning your business, showcasing your listings, showcasing some statistics that are happening in your local market, or the markets that matter, connecting the markets. Personal interest posts, pets, art, cooking, you know, recipes during the certain seasons, yes. Exercising, workout, some people health, wellness, and wealth. That's one of my girlfriend's models, and it just kind of fits all together in a newsletter and everything. Outdoor adventures, things to do on the different islands, live music, your interests. Are you an artist? Are you a musician? Team sports? And so those are the kind of things in the 80%. And in the 20% listings, open houses. Maybe you're going to get an award tomorrow. So you could post that in Aruba. And speaking events, if you were even brought in for your kid's school to be the guest reader, that is a speaking event. Somebody trusted you to go speak to little children. Show them that. That means that I would, let you come into my house. And then above and beyond, 10% community service. We've talked a lot about that. I know a lot of you have the heart of that, and I would just encourage, post it. Even if it's, oh, I forgot to post it, it was 3 months ago, post it. Make a little post and say, 3 months ago, this little thing touched my heart. Right? And so with your social media strategy, your goal is always to connect with people, post about your neighborhood, use images, just be careful what you post also. Just make sure that what you post is out there and everybody gets to see it. So make sure it's a true reflection of who you are. And also engage. You can't just post and ghost. Highlight your business. If you have some testimonials, that's really great. Don't post and ghost. Don't just post and then not engage with your commenters. That is, I find that social media has opened up a world for people that aren't really great on the phones or don't want to sit there and hit the phones all the time. You can mass lead generate through social media and add value, participate in online communities. If you don't have a specific community that you're part of, that you start one. You know how many people I've seen start them and I look like, oh my God, they got 3,000 people in that group. So start a community. Moms selling real estate on Aruba. Mom selling real estate on Curacao, right? Police officers gone wild, went to real estate. I'm sure there's a few of them out there, right? So make your own group. Make your own referral group. Only let the people in that you want. Put a couple questions. And be authentic. Don't be the jack of all trades. That isn't believable. Be honest. Embrace video. Don't worry about if you look funny. That's why a lot of times just go live. Who cares? Who cares what you said, what you do? Just be yourself. Use analytics to optimize your posts and ask for help. And so in the social media world, I would imagine our administrative help in our offices are great for that, as well as there's tons of KW classes that you can take. And when you guys meet Ashley, she could probably point you in the direction of a few other things as well. So on the recap, we are 10-5-1, personal post, the 80-20, the don't post and ghost. And engaging in every conversation in the spirit of contribution. At the end of the day, they may not do business with you, not today, maybe not ever. And your goal is to just talk to as many people as possible. Okay.
Small
Yeah.
question. Most of us have a personal page and a business page.
Yeah.
Which one do you use for? You use only your real estate for the business page for real estate, or your personal? Just
No,
advice?
I mean, I find that having a business page is important, and that is where everything business should get posted. Facebook specifically has made it easy where you could post on multiple pages at one time. Instagram, I find you should have that one profile. Maybe you have another profile that's your business. I find it hard to manage, and I think it's a personal preference. If you're a more private person, then I would think maybe you're not going to be sharing as much as somebody like me, that I'm a really high I, high D. I don't care. I just want to get, I'd rather just go to one place, put everything there. You get to see who I am. Who I am is what you get. And I'm very conscious though, that it's not too much personal. It's not too much business. It's not. And then on the business page, I do still have that going though, because there are, you know, certain searches that people are just looking for business pages, and I don't want to be missed there. And that's something that's important for you guys, that each of your name, you should have a business page. And even if you only share some things there, you know, people that are looking for business pages should be able to find you. But on Instagram, I have only one. I mean, I had another one. I'm trying to merge them because I can't keep up with the posting. Now, if you have somebody who is posting for you and you get to that point, or you've got that down in a system, and you can easily just say, okay, this is personal, this is business. But then once again, to the point of this, your business doesn't get to see too much of your personal, and then they just know that they're working with this business. For KW Aruba, for KW Curacao, for the office, that should also have, that should be the business page in my mind. The market centers that we have here in the States typically have a business page. Some I don't think do well. Some I think it's too personal. Some it's not enough business, and some's too much business, and I don't know who works there, and I want to know what the feel of it is, what the vibe is, if I were going to refer an office. So I think it's going to be your personal preference, but I do think it's a mix of both. And for me, I just like one. But okay, so in capturing more leads, we may have to go through this and then stop here. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So this here is important because this is where you get to put your spin on it, right? We've talked about that. Do you love hunting for people? Do you love hunting for people? You love people, right? Systems that work. So your number one job is to get in front of them, buyers and sellers. And this is everything. You have a message and you have a method. And this is, I mean, I'll give this to you. You guys should print this out when thinking about your lead generation plan, when thinking about what are you going to do this month, what are you going to do the next month, how often are you going to touch these people? This is the model that you're looking at. I have a message and I have a method. My mom's 74. My son is 13. My son's on Discord, my mom's on Facebook. My son's on TikTok, my mom maybe, and she's never going on Instagram. She's on Facebook, right? So you also can call my mom. My son's never picking up the phone. So like we have to look at all of our generations. What is the message we want to get out to them, and then match it to the market? And then what's the method that it actually is going to fall on the right market? Make sense? Has anybody thought through this a bit on certain things, and like looking at it now, you're like, yeah, I wanted to get this message out, and this is how we did it because I thought through it, and it wasn't going to be just your regular, you know, postcard. Anybody work with developers? Anybody work with, you know, just different, your sphere? Who doesn't, somebody asked a question last night in one of my classes is, well, how do you get the sphere to start talking about selling real estate if they're not selling their real estate? They're not, you haven't spoken to them in a while. How do you generate that conversation? What method do you use, right? The method with that is you pick up the phone. So it's a phone call to your sphere first. And what is the message? The message is you're going to match your market. You're gonna talk to your sphere, and you're gonna tell them that there's equity in the properties and that you're willing to do an equity analysis. Now, have you guys done that on the island? Have you guys done the equity analysis lead generation strategy? Anybody? Right. So golden letters. Anybody golden letters? No? Okay. So there is a golden letter that you would send out to either your neighborhood, or you could send it out to your sphere. And so it would all depend on the message and the method and the person and the market, right? And generally it's going to be a letter that's going to state that the market is hot and that a lot of people have realized that their property has increased in value tremendously, and that you are offering an equity analysis. Yes, it's a CMA, it's a market analysis, but you're offering an equity analysis because here's what you're seeing people are doing with their equity. One, they're pulling it out and they're paying off their debt. right? You can can you do an equity line off of your house here on the islands? Can you go to the bank if you have a job and pull the equity out? No? Okay. Well, they could do that here. So that is a strat. So then I guess you probably the other strategies or the other things that would work is that they could sell the property and they could buy other properties. They could make that move and downsize. Maybe they have another house and they want to keep it and the rents are so high. So we also handle rentals. But here in the States, it's important to know the equity because a lot of people are taking their equity at 9 or 10% and throwing it at a 26 to 30% credit card. Taking the 9 and 10% equity line and throwing it at the student loans or the medical bills that have been chasing them or the credit card that, you know. So we are taking the equity and we are using it and it's giving our agents some opportunity. So, all right. So you guys don't have that.
It is
but-
the time, I think, now for those letters, those flyers, because yeah, the prices increased a lot. Not everybody knows. So yeah,
Yeah.
would be or offer a free appraisal or something, or value report of the house.
Yeah. It's really absolutely a property report on the house to understand. And there's a few things that we found in doing this because last year when the prices were really going up so much, this was our thing. Letting people know because people were making some crazy decisions. They were, you know, taking the house, selling it, and downsizing, like not realizing that they could actually retire now. You know, some people were so strapped, they had no money coming in, the jobs, they lost their jobs, maybe there was a death, COVID, and getting out of the house was like the best thing that they could do. So when you're the person letting them know, the other thing was the insurance. We were not properly insured. So we also partnered with the insurance company on some of our marketing pieces because they were reviewing the policies and literally have to double and triple some of the policies. So there were houses that, you know, you bought at 300 that are now worth 6 and you need $1 million policy where you have a $500,000 policy on it. So that's money for the insurance company as well. So, you know, think about the message and the method that you could be giving to your sphere, how you could use a strategy that we just kind of talked about in a different way. But we are approaching, connecting, and asking. If we don't, that's what prospecting and marketing is. If you're not, you're sitting there and you're waiting, you're not going to have a business. And so we talked about how people typically move 7 to 10 years. It's the cycle of having children, getting married, you know, getting settled, moving on, not wanting to move year 2 or 3. Then we do see people that move 2 and 3 years, but typically 7 to 10 years. So knowing that inside of your database, we know that everybody's going to move in 10 years, which means that you have that opportunity. If you have 100 people in the database, you have 100 sales in 10 years. And all of the referrals that they could send your way. Now, you're not going to get every referral. Let's say you got 50% of them. That's 50 sales over 10 years that you would have sitting in your database if you would just cultivate the leads, prospect and market them. So prospecting is time sensitive, proactive, immediate results. Marketing, you need money to do it. It's money intensive. It is passive. You could sit back a little. The best thing to do is to market while you're prospecting. These are the prospecting ideas, and we've talked about these. Circle prospecting into neighborhoods. That was for the VIP open house. Now, for my open houses, the other thing that I would share with you is we, on a Sunday, would have, let's say, 11 to 12 would be neighbors only. And then 12 to 2 would be public open house. And so we would create a little VIP invitation and we would walk the neighborhood and we would let them know that they were exclusively invited to come the hour before the open house because I didn't want to be there twice. Okay. I just want to be there one time. Come the hour before the open house and get to meet your neighbors and let's try to get this puppy sold. And then at 12 o'clock, we're going to have the public open house. And then people would leave because they would know that the public, the buyers are coming, right? And so then to Zita's question before, you could have two different conversations. You could have conversations with the sellers, potential sellers who want to keep that value, and then you have the conversation with the buyers and the agents that may be coming through in the next 2 hours. So all of this is prospecting ideas, and here are marketing ideas. You know, radio, TV, newspaper, that's expensive, very expensive. In respect to what? If you have a huge project and you're rolling it out and you are going to make $3 million off it, yeah, well, you probably are expected to do some radio, TV, newspaper. Okay, but in the everyday regular business, you really have to build up to the point where you can afford, where your business affords you the ability to bring in radio and TV into the business, because it's the priciest. But a lot of the other stuff, it doesn't have to be. Here we don't do a lot of number one, but online advertising, pay-per-click, SEO, social media, you know, that's there. I really think that you have a huge opportunity with YouTube in the islands, and just getting your stories out and using your YouTube channel as something that people will revisit. Okay. Direct mail, postcards, quarterly market updates. You know, I have a lead generation class. When we did the business planning clinic, there's a 12-month, you know, touch system and promotional swag items. Like when I went and I closed at KW Aruba, I got a KW Aruba bag. I bring it to the beach all the time. So it's roaming around Aruba when I'm there. Do you guys have something that says your name, your t-shirt? Right? Think about it. Think about an inexpensive item that you could get, that you could brand for yourself, so that when you're prospecting, you could follow it up with your marketing piece. Okay. Gold mine of referrals. So client referrals always provide value. Ask for referrals, reward for referrals, thank with a handwritten note. I just saw something that Lars was doing, which he's gathering people for a drawing, right? The best thing you could do is, has anybody here done the Bold 100 or had a call in or had a successful event where you had people entering something and you gathered their data that way? Okay. So yeah, so you would just say, listen, on this day, like we're going to be having Valentine's Day soon, right? So maybe like on February 1st, you have to call in, you have to call this number, you have to text this number, you have to email this, you give them what they have to do to enter into a giveaway for, I don't know, your favorite restaurant. Maybe it's your restaurant, a dinner for two on Valentine's Day, or maybe it's $100 or $50 or whatever, something substantial, roses for Valentine's Day. So you have this little giveaway where they have to call in, they have to provide their information, and they have to answer 3 questions for you. Like, what's your birth date? What's the email? What's your physical address? Or just 3 things of data that you want to gather, and then you're pulling a winner. And now what did you do? You just gathered 50 more people, 100 more people. Now, next time you do it, you could actually target market to those people. Hey, we're doing another contest. We're doing the quarterly giveaway. So here we got to be really careful with the laws and the commissions and all of this stuff. You definitely, and we could still do it here. So I'm sure you could do it there. There's no rules. No rules at all. The other thing is with the giveaway, with the Bold 100 is, and that's the goal, is to have 100 people at least contact you in that short time, right? So the other thing would be that they would get 2 entries if they send you a referral. They'll get 5 entries if they do business with you right there. I mean, you just make it where they're going to go, yeah, come list my house right now so I can get 5 entries, right? And they're joking, but you're like, well, why? You really going to move? And it starts conversation, and it just puts you in the mind share. We want to get in the mind share. Agent to agent referral, you have a huge opportunity here, there, everywhere. Nobody knows agents on Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao like they know agents in New York City or Texas. So we need to know you, and we have to you got to get out there. Get out there and find agents in every city that makes sense to you. Go teach in Miami. Go teach in one of the islands. Go teach in Europe. You know, show up and add value, and that's how you're going to get agent to agent referrals. And then service all the leads that come your way. Give them feedback. I give you a client, give me feedback every month. Just shoot an email to all of the referrals saying, hey, here's what's going on with Francisco, and here's what's going on with Zita, and Sam's doing this. And I go, oh, Francisco's the best ever over there. He always lets me know what's going on, right? So maintain, grow, and manage that. Here's your referral network. You can go into Command. You can go into the little map, and you can find agents that do business, add to your network, put them in your database, add them on your social media, because that's what we're looking at. We go to look for an agent. What's their social media look like also? Worldwide referrals, business to business referrals. This year, I think, is another one of your strongest opportunities. Like I said before, if I went to the Hilton or the Hyatt or the Marriott and they had this exclusive luxury bus tour, great. Who could you get to pay for that bus, guys? What businesses are you going to be in business with that we are constantly referring business to each other? Do you have a vendor list? I'm sure you do. Maybe some of you are going, no, I don't even have a vendor list. Just put it together. Who do you go to get your clothes dry cleaned? Who do you buy your milk? Where do you get your tires filled, your gas, your restaurant, dentist, doctor, lawyer? I mean, and then because it's not just the services that you need to close the house. Then I'm bothering Edwin and BB for, like, you know, the pool cleaner and who could take this windmill out of my backyard, right? So we need lots of stuff. You need business connections. And my pastor, which he's so crazy, he's a coach for the little leagues for the baseball. So this one lady who works for the city, she just bought a uniform store. And everybody loves Pastor. Pastor's like the community pastor. He's the coach. So she said, Pastor, can you go over to the store and can you just say that you're here and this is where you get your uniforms from? And she had like 300 likes. Everybody's calling her. He's like, I thought I was the mayor. And I said, no, it's because you're important in the community and you're showcasing a business. So he's going to be doing that every Tuesday because he wants his church to grow. You want your business to grow. Go out there every Tuesday and showcase a local business. And I promise you, your business will grow through business. Your business will grow through agents. Your business will grow through your sphere. Your business will grow through your open houses, through your social media. And also, here's your geographic farming. So what is geographic farming? It's a collection of homes, neighborhood, where you live. That should be one farm. Where you would like to live should be another farm. Where you came from should be another farm. Things you know that, like, if somebody said, hey, Ricardo, come over for a listing appointment tonight. He's like, okay, great. Yeah, I know that building. I'll be right there. That's the farm. Now, because the farm, you're going to actually have a concerted effort. You're going to market, you're going to walk, you're going to call, you're going to do a 12 direct, an 8x8 touch. You are going to maximize your prospecting inside of this geographical farm with open houses. Anybody has a listing, you're like, oh, I'll do that open house. Social media, post all sorts of things about what's going on in those farms, conversations, contacts, and notes. So with the geographic farm, that's like when you go get your mail, do your neighbors know you're a realtor? And, you know, Zita said, yes, they do with her curly hair. So we know that, but does everybody else, do your neighbors know you're the realtor in town that can help them? And events and seminars, kind of back to like that idea of the hotel thing, but could you also think about on a local level, who's the next group of buyers? Like, are there people that are working that we could have seminars on a Saturday or a Tuesday night that educate them on first-time home buying, right? Are there sellers that have been on the island forever? They have no idea. Their family, they got the house from their family and they wouldn't even know what it's like to sell. But guess what? They're going to Colombia next year, or they're going to pack it up and go to Holland. So they want to go to the seller seminar, preparing to downsize, preparing to relocate seminar. Those are things on a local level. The senior centers probably have outlets that you could reach out to their children to educate. How about, it's called KW Planner. KW Planner is, how do I help? You know, how do I help my friend whose mom is 85 and now my friend is in charge of all of the freaking real estate and she doesn't know what to do? And there's probably lots of kids that aren't living on the island that are going to be in charge of all the real estate. So how do we get to those people before they get to somebody else? How do we become the people that they just go to? Oh, you're going to sell your property on the island? Oh, you go to KW. They know everything. They have everything covered. Okay, so the point is there's leads everywhere. There truly are leads everywhere. I picked up leads, grocery store, coffee shop, hair salon, best place. You're stuck there for like ever. The hairstylist knows everything about everybody, who's getting divorced, who's getting married, who's having a baby, dentist office, and wherever you go. So you capture every lead. We use command. Command is the best way to then organize in the database and put into little categories, tags, and create a lead generation plan. Connect with your sphere, build and feed your database, capture leads from open houses, build community and with social media, execute referral strategy, choose geographic area to focus, and consider events and seminars. This is everything that we just talked about today, guys. So this page right here, spend some time with yourself to just kind of check them off. Like, did you think about this? Are you going to maybe, no, we're not going to do the referral strategy this year. I'm going to work on really building here. You know, so you need to create that lead generation plan. And so we're going to stop here. We actually made it through most of the material. We're going to pick up with session 10, 11, and 12 next week. So what ahas? I need at least two ahas on creating leads, generating leads, cultivating that everywhere we could create leads. At least 2 ahas before we end today. Quiet group. This is your business. This is the core of your business, guys. Who's going to take action and take one of, like, maybe an idea or expand on an idea that we just.
Yeah, giveaways. That's gonna be nice because Islanders sometimes they love free stuff. And then normally on socials, that creates a lot of things, a lot of sharing because they all want something for free. So
That's right.
I think like a quarterly something that might, the center point of something sharing might be interesting. We have to see how that works, but we're definitely gonna try that.
I love it. Okay, so cars. I come to the island. The first people I meet is I go get my car, right? That's what you have a car business, right?
Yeah, that's one of it. But I think that what you said, like
No. What I'm saying is, for you is, we used to have this guy in the south, in the beach area, and he had it on lock. All the rentals were on lock with him because the minute you got down there, you would pull through and he would give you this like basket of giveaways. So like everybody used this guy, his name was Burger. Everybody used Burger for their rentals because the experience when you landed down the shore was you first went to Burger and you got your basket and you got your keys and all the right, and it made it easy and fun. So I'm just saying, Yarno, you have an opportunity for that first, when we get there, to make that be an experience and have a giveaway attached to that, be promoting yourself.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
my
right.
big aha is actually the neighbors open house, neighbors only. I think that's a good idea because a lot of neighbors, they don't know each other. Maybe make it that you can know each other just an hour before the open house, and flyer and talk to the neighbors. I think that's a great idea. And of course the Valentine's Day giveaway dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna talk. Maybe it's an idea. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. And you know what? Edwin, that could just be that the office is doing it and all the agents could get their people to enter. You're only giving away one dinner for 2, but everybody gets to put their stuff in to enter. Like, why not, right? And then you guys could get fun with it. It could be QR codes. You could put them, in different places. Like, hey, scan here for a shot at. And then the QR code goes right to command. Xenia, you could figure this out, I'm sure. Goes right to command, the QR code. And then all of those people are getting uploaded right into the database. No second step. Okay,
And I
Alright.
think for everybody, just to let them know, if you don't have a house, you're just starting, ask other agents to do an open house for them. Everybody cooperates with that. Maybe we can do it together with maybe 10 houses at the same time. So if you are willing to do an open house and you don't have any listings, just let us know and we connect you with other agents that are open to do this.
that's right. We do what's called an open house blitz. It's like the first weekend of April for us. That's like a really good opening to our spring market. But we do an open house blitz and we paint the town red. So we encourage every single listing that we have to be open that weekend. And we just have flags and everything everywhere. So it really makes an impact in the community. So I would encourage that too. And also, like I said, if you haven't done one, go and shadow, get some confidence, because when you do a paint the town red, guess what? Your competition is down the street. And so how do you make yourself different at each open house is going to be being authentic and real, being the real you, having some items of value, right? Always. So there are things supplementally that you have to think about so that you can execute all of these ideas like appropriately. So all right, guys, thank you so much. It's 10:03. We will be back here next Thursday. And I wish you guys a very productive and profitable week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Bye,
very
guys.
much. Bye.